guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I'm doing like a one palette multiple looks type of thing. So I was actually recommended to try out the Lavera, it's the mineral eyeshadow selection and it's their Blooming Pastel 02 palette by, I can't pronounce your surname so I'm not going to try, but Lenka recommended for me to try it. So I picked it up. I got mine off Amazon and I think it was around £12 I think. So you get 6 shades in here. This isn't a first impressions. I have already played with it and I stupidly didn't do it on camera, so it's not a first impressions, but I'm going to create 3 looks and I am going to talk about what I think about this palette afterwards. So yeah, you have to stay to the end if you want to know my thoughts and opinions on this. But you get 6 shades. This, when I first got it, this row definitely appealed to me most. I'm kind of really loving colours like this at the moment for this time of year. Really beautiful. You do get some mattes in here, like this white's a matte, this one's a matte, and this one's a matte. This has got more of like a, none of them are particularly shimmers, I'd say. These are just more got sheens to them, which I think is really pretty. But I do have some pros and some cons to this palette, but I want to do the looks first and then I'll tell you my thoughts and opinions at the end. But I really want to thank Lenka for recommending this to me, because I love trying out your guys' recommendations and things that you like. I think it's always interesting to know what kind of makeup you guys like as well. So yeah, thank you for recommending this, and if you're interested in the 3 looks I'm going to create using it and then my thoughts and opinions, then please keep on watching. So I have already prepped and primed my eyes. So yeah, I've got 3 looks I know I want to do. So the first one, none of these shades have names, so I'm just going to have to point. So I'm going to take this kind of medium matte brown shade here first. And I'm going to take this through the crease area. I'm just going to go ahead, dip back in and just kind of build up a little bit with this colour. This one's definitely like a perfect transition shade. I found. I'm just going to take a fluffy brush just to make sure it's blended out. And I don't, with this shade, you don't get any fallout. Now something I will note, just because this is what Lenka said to me when she recommended it. She said they definitely need a tacky base to kind of get the real pigmentation going, which is what I do anyway. I never set my Lily Lola eye primer, so it's always a tacky base. And she said with some of the shades, like with more the sheeny shades, that she finds it's better to wet them. So I will demonstrate that when it comes to it. But yeah, I just thought I'd point those out, but I will show that off as I go with the looks. What I'm actually going to do is take a pencil brush and take the dark brown shade now. I'm going to go and go through the crease, but I just want a much more of a focused position with this colour. Not as a cut crease, I just want to add definition, but right into that crease area. And then I take that brush I used for that first brown shade and pick some more of that first brown shade up and just use that to buff that colour out. Okay, what I'm going to do on a fluffy brush, I'm going to take some of the matte white shade and use that to further blend up here and also kind of slightly highlight the brow bone as well. Just going to really soften nicely. Across the lid, I'm going to take this one here. It's kind of like a pink toned colour, but quite a muted pink tone. It does have some sheen to it, so I'm going to take it on a shading brush to begin with. And I'm going to pack this onto the lid. Now this is dry. I'm just going to point that out, and obviously I've still got a tacky base. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick some more of that shade up and wet it just so I can show you. So I picked some up. I'm going to wet it because she did recommend doing that with some of these more sheeny colours. I'm going to go over the top of that. And as you can see, that definitely added more pigment to the shade. I wouldn't say added any more of the sheeness doesn't necessarily come through more or anything like that. But it definitely added more pigmentation to colour. And you can see it just brings out the pink just a little bit more. Okay, on to the lower lash line. I'm going to take some of this beautiful cranberry shade. Now this one you do get some kickback in, as you can see when you go in the pan. But if you tap off, you won't get any fallout on the face. So I'm going to drag this one along the lower lash line. But I can tell you now, this is definitely my favourite colour of the palette. Is this kind of cranberry plum shade. It's going to tie in quite nicely with the pink we've got going on at the top. Okay, what I'm going to do is take a fluffy brush, pick up some of that matte white, and just use that just to help kind of blend it out and kind of reduce. I brought that down a bit too far, so it's just going to help kind of soften that out slightly. I love having like matte whites or matte kind of off-white cream colours, because it just helps if you've gone a bit too crazy, just to erase a little bit and soften colour as well. And you can also mix it into a colour, so I can mix it with the cranberry to make more of a pinky tone if I really wanted to, which I think is always quite nice. Okay, on a small flat brush, I'm just going to take some more matte white, and I'm just going to use a matte colour to give a small highlight to this inner corner. I'm not going to go in with a shimmer. Then I'm going to go in mascara to finish this look off. I'm using my Lily Lolo Big Lash Mascara. For lips, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to go in with the Jane Iredale Sugar and Butter lip product. Okay, so that's look number one, using the palette. It's quite a nice kind of, I think, everyday type of look, because the top bit's quite natural, but then it's got the pop of cranberry underneath. I think it's quite nice. So yes, this is look number one, and on to look number two. Okay, so on to look number two. I think I'm just going to do a simple brown matte smoky eye for this look. So I'm first of all going to take the really kind of dark brown in this palette on a shading brush, pick some up. And obviously I've got a tacky base, and I'm just going to lay this over the top of my lid. Ooh, that is a really nice brown actually. These formulas are quite very smooth, I'd say. Very, very nice. I will blend out in a second. I'm just going to pack this colour on. Yeah, so I'd highly recommend, like Lenka said, to have a wet or a tacky base for this, because that just makes that really stick on and quite intense. And before I move on to blend it out, I'm going to take the exact same shade and just drag it along the lower lash line. Just using the exact same brush again. Okay, then what I'm going to do is take some of the lighter matte brown shade, more neutral mid-tone, and use that to blend out this darker shade. But I'm going to try and stick mainly to the crease. I don't want to bring it too far up. I'm going to use like the matte white to kind of blend it further in a second. I'm just going to take this through the crease mainly. I think I would probably say the mattes are slightly better than shimmers, I'd have to say. I'm going to take the matte white now on a really fluffy brush and just use that just to go over all the edges. Just going to soften and make sure that I have blended everything out nicely. What I'm going to do is take some mid-tone light brown shade and smoke out the lower lash line, because I haven't done that yet. And then with a fluffy brush, take the white shade and just further buff it out. So I'm actually going to add a little bit of black eye pencil. This is the Lily Lolo, and just smudge it around my outer portion of my eyes. above the lash line and on the lower part as well. I just feel it could do with a little bit of something there. If there was a black in the palette, I would have used that, but that brown is obviously like the darkest shade. So literally just around the outer portion. I'm going to blend it out in a second. I take a pencil brush, take the dark brown shade, and use that just to smoke that black eyeliner out. It's just going to help diffuse it slightly. Okay, then for lips, I'm going to have some Pure Caramel lip product in Rum Nougat. Okay, and that is look number 2 done. So just a simple matte brown smoky eye, a glossy kind of pinky orangey toned lip. Yeah, another quite easy look to do with this palette. Okay, so on to my third and final look using this palette, and then I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions after this one. And I feel like this is going to be my favourite look out of all of them, just because I'm playing with this cranberry shade, and this cranberry shade is absolutely beautiful, I think. So, yeah. Okay, first thing I do is take this light matte brown shade here on a fluffy brush, and I'm going to pop this through the crease area. It's going to be a nice light wash. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the dark matte brown shade and pop this through the crease area. Go back in with a lighter brown shade and that fluffy brush just to make sure that is blended out. What I'm going to do is on a pencil brush now, I'm going to load up with the dark brown. And I'm going to do a slight halo eye for this look. So I'm going to pack this right onto this outer portion. And right onto the inner portion as well. I'm purposely using a pencil brush because it's more dense, so it'll just pick up a lot more product. I can get it right in the inner corner as well then as well. A slightly fluffier brush than the one I used for the dark brown. This is a shading brush. Is it? Well, it's a base eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to lightly go over these edges, but only where the crease is. I don't want to diffuse these kind of bits here because I don't want the colour to be diminished too much. I want quite an intense outer and inner portion. So it's just where it meets in the crease. Okay, and then I'm going to take the cranberry shade on a shading brush, load it up, and pop this on, this inner portion. And what I think I am going to do is it just needs a little bit of help, so I'm going to take some more and wet it. And go over it. Just going to intense the colour slightly and just give it a bit more of a wet finish with this colour. It's literally just going right in the centre portion. A little bit over the brown, but mainly in the centre. And then on a pencil brush again, take some more of the brown and just kind of go over the edges, just to make sure they're diffused. With the brush, taking some of the medium, or the light brown, sorry, and just gently going through that crease area. Okay, along the lower lash line on a pencil brush, take the dark brown. I'm going to take the cranberry shade, again on that pencil brush, and I'm not going to necessarily wet it. I just want to blend those two together, so I'm not creating the halo effect on the lower lash line. It's just on this upper portion. Then pick up some matte white and just diffuse that because I have gone slightly overboard. I'm going to take some of this here and just use that in the inner corner. It's not going to be honest, do that much, but it's just going to brighten ever so slightly. So I'm going to pair it with a ready toned pinky lip. So I'm first of all going to take my Ruby Red lip liner by Lily Lolo. Then taking my Antipods lipstick in Remarkably Red. So that's the third and final look done with this Lavera palette, and I think this last one's possibly my favourite out of the three, I think, just because I like the cranberry shade. So I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on this. I have to say, overall, I've actually really enjoyed this palette. It's an inexpensive palette. You get 6 shades. I will say I don't think you need... I think they could either take a shade out or switch it for something else in here, and I'll explain that in a second. But I think overall I've managed to create some really nice looks with it, and they feel really nice. You will get, as you notice, kickback in the pan when you you put your brush in, but if you tap off, you shouldn't get any fallout. I think there was one shade I did get a little bit of fallout on, possibly the brown, I can't remember now, but you would have seen it. But apart from that, I didn't really experience any fallout. I would say you definitely need a tacky base for this. I use my Lily Lolo eye primer as always, so that's kind of my go-to. And with some of the shades, like these two in particular, I do think you do slightly, unless you're going in straight with that shade onto the tacky base, then it's fine. But if you're going on top of it, you've already kind of laid some shadow down, then I think you do need to wet it just to amp up that little bit more. I will say, I think the mattes are really nice. They're really smooth. I think they blend really nicely. When I did the brown smoky eye, I really noticed how kind of smooth they were and how easy they were to blend as well, which I think is great. I'd say probably then the mattes performed better than the kind of more, they're not really shimmers, they're more sheens, I'd say, because there's no like particles to them. So these three are kind of more the ones that I like, more the sheen type look. I don't know if you really see that on my hand. Oh, I've just contaminated. But anyway, yeah, so those are the 3 sheens, the rest are mattes. I really like having like a matte white or a matte off-white in a palette, because like I said, if you want to like diffuse a colour out without adding too much more colour to it, it's easy to buff around the edges and smoke things out that way, or similarly you can kind of lighten other shades. I would say you don't need, I don't think it's needed for these both to be in the palette. I think they are slightly different. This is a lighter tone of this one really, but I think either take one out or make one a lot more intense, so a lot more, maybe a shimmer, or make it really kind of foiled looking instead, so they're different. Because I think they're just too similar, and they're probably my least favourite in the palette because they don't really do much in my opinion. This is beautiful. I think this is really great everyday look. If you just wanted to pop something through the crease, this is perfect. And then you pop something like that on the lid, then you're kind of good to go. I think it's a really nice shade, and it, like I said, it blends really beautifully onto the eye. This colour, I like the colour of it. It does need this tacky base or to be wet to have the full potential, but I really like the shade of it, and for this time of year, it's kind of one of my, I really just think it's a beautiful shade to have. And this shade is really nice as well. I do wish maybe it was a slightly darker brown, but again, it blends really nicely, nice pigmentation. I think it works really well in the palette. I will say, I don't know if it would be great for, I don't think it's a great palette for someone with a deeper skin tone, especially this top row. And even with this shade, I don't think it's going to be particularly noticeable. Definitely one for lighter skin tones, unfortunately. It's very travel friendly. It is cardboard, so you can recycle. I don't know how it works with the mirror though, whether you can recycle the mirror or not, because I know in my Ether Beauty palettes, there's no mirror to make it kind of better packaging, so it's fully recyclable. So it does say recyclable on the back with the cardboard, but I don't know about what the mirror situation is. Yeah, but I'm so glad that Lenka recommended this to me, because I'm very glad to try it out. It's a product I haven't tried before. I've only really tried from Lavera, I think it was the eye primer. I don't think I've really tried anything else, so I probably will go and pick up some other products to try them out. And like I said, overall I think this is a really nice palette. I just think these two shades, I don't think you need both, or you just need to really, one needs to be really different from the other, like in terms of maybe the finish to it. And like I said, yeah, tacky base, or they need to be dampened slightly to get the full effect. Something she also did say to me, which I did notice when I played with this previously, that it does last really well throughout the day. I don't find I get creasing on the eyes or anything like that, or it breaks up. So actually the shadows do last really well throughout the day on the eyes, which I think is obviously a good bonus. I think I prefer, because some of these tones actually remind me of the 100% Pure palettes that I've got, kind of like these tones, and I think I prefer those. And I think I prefer like my Ether Beauty palette, but obviously Ether Beauty palette is a lot more expensive than this palette. This is a very inexpensive palette, and so you kind of got to weigh it up that way, but I do think the Ether Beauty palettes are much nicer. Yeah, this bottom row I love. This top row, I like this shade, but I think these two could be changed or one taken out or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, thank you so much to Lenka for recommending this to me. I like trying out your guys' recommendations and seeing what you like. So please do keep recommending me your products. I love to try them out and see how they work and stuff like that, and kind of find new brands and things that I haven't really played with. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know which of the three looks was your favourite. Like I said, I think this one is my favourite, and I actually really liked, I mean, I liked all three, but I think the smoky one as well, just because the browns just perform so nicely in this palette. If they actually did like a full-on neutral, like different brown tones, mattes, I would totally get that. I would happily buy that, because I just think the formula is so nice. Or if they've got a full matte palette, then yeah, I think that'd be really pretty, because I think the mattes in here are really, really nice. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a request for future videos down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.